you want to manifest something and the idea of experiencing the physical manifestation doesn't thrill you because it doesn't seem to be happening, do whatever you can to remember, to remind yourself of all of the times when you have had what you once wanted and loved it. What you felt on those occasions was thrilled and delighted and very, very glad, wasn't it? Which means that if you aren't thrilled, you are out of alignment with that feeling. You are out of alignment. It's you. This isn't about blame. It's about personal empowerment and reclaiming your inherent power. If you are anything other than eager for your unfulfilled desire to manifest, you are less than totally aligned. Hooray for noticing it. It's easy to tell when this happens. It's kind of hard not to notice. You're probably thinking and saying things like, how come I don't have it? How come I can't see evidence of it when it's already been so many days, weeks, months, years? Instead of things like, whoa, how come my life is so awesome? Why is it so full of awesome stuff and awesome people and awesome coincidences? How come I always get what I want? Why the heck is life so freaking good to me? The more you notice the absence of what you want instead of its presence, the more you push it away, the thing you want, because you are perceiving the reality in which you do have what you want, your desired reality, as being other than here and now. That's why you tell yourself you want it and lack it instead of that you manifest it and already have it. Not having the thing you want, lacking it, perceiving its absence, does not have to translate into the emotional state of wishing for that thing or of longing for it to happen or of fearing that it never will happen. Not having what you want could simply mean you are looking forward to it, anticipating it eagerly, joyfully. You can't look forward to something if you already have it, right? Not having what you desire can be a wonderful thing. In other words, not having something is what allows you to look forward to it. Look forward to it instead of dread not getting it. You might not even know what you want specifically and still look forward to it. You can be open and receptive generally to the manifestation of your good feeling expectations, your good feeling desires. Long story short, not having what you want can be a fabulous thing if you let it be. If you let it be. If you perceive its absence and you feel disheartened, you are not living in the wish fulfilled. And that is the perfect reminder for you to exercise your power of perception and focus upon more satisfying things. Because in so doing, you align yourself with the awareness, the consciousness of the presence of the things you desire and appreciate having, rather than the absence of the things you wish to have and mourn the absence of. Example, you want $5,000. Heck, make it $50,000 or $500,000 or $5 million if you like. Make it an amount that feels good to you, an amount that feels believable, achievable, receivable, and spendable by you personally, because you don't want to oppose your own desire with thoughts of doubt or cynicism. You don't even have to believe, really, as long as you just don't actively disbelieve. It's okay to be unrealistic, in other words, as long as you allow yourself to be unrealistic. This isn't necessarily about playing big or playing small. This is about alignment and satisfaction. And the truth is that manifesting even just $5 can be just as satisfying as manifesting a much larger sum. So whatever amount you have in mind, you know what you want. You have a figure in mind. The wonderful thing about money is how malleable and fluid it is. It is so exchangeable and it circulates and flows here and there and everywhere. It is a medium of exchange after all. It has currency. It is current. It is alive. It is fresh. You can trade it for a huge variety of goods and services. So when you have a figure in mind, one that feels believable to you, It's probably because you have clarity about what that money actually means to you personally in non-monetary terms, what that money represents to you, what experience, what product or service, what lifestyle. The first time you allow yourself, with the key word being allow, the first time you allow yourself to imagine that this amount of money, and therefore the product or service or experience or lifestyle that that money represents, can be yours, there is no resistance, right? There is no opposing thought. When you first see something and think, that looks like fun, I wonder how much it costs, for the very first time, that feeling of curiosity is very light, playful. It's soft and easy and fun. It's only after the desire is born that you tend to introduce resistance, thoughts of opposition. Thoughts like, I can't afford that, I don't have enough money to pay for that, blah, blah, blah. Alignment is just about remaining steady in the energy of your desire in its early stages, the energy that allowed you to be open and playful and receptive enough to even conceive of the desire to begin with, because that is the energy of your willingness to ask questions like, what if I did have the money? What if I could have that thing that the money I want represents? What if I could have anything I want? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be wonderful? What would that be like? Instead of questions like, how come I don't have it? How come I'm not getting what I wanted despite having wanted it for so long? What if I never get what I want? That would be terrible. It is terrible. It sucks. As trite as this sounds, it's about perspective. What you experience is all about your perspective. If you feel the way you feel because of external physical conditions, such as how much money you do or do not currently have, you've bought into the illusion of physical reality. So remind yourself, reality is a projection, a reflection of your inner state. When you look at physical reality, things that have already manifested, you are looking into a mirror. Your reflection does not move if you do not move. Your reflection does not smile if you do not smile. Feeling the way you feel because of the way things are in quote unquote reality, for example, by going, I'm worried and I feel poor because I am poor, because I don't have money, and my life sucks because I don't have money, is like blaming your reflection for not smiling when you are not smiling, if that makes sense. It's like saying, I will smile when my reflection smiles first. Otherwise, I refuse to smile. Never going to happen, right? Because what you see in the mirror is not the real thing. The mirror is just a reflection of the real thing. Money is not what makes you feel rich. Feeling rich is what makes you money. The first people to quote unquote invent money would not have done so if they didn't have some concept of abundance and wealth to begin with, some idea of money, some idea of a portable, exchangeable form of value. The idea of it came before the physical precious stones and metals and paper bills and coins and so on. Ideas are non-physical. Non-physical always comes before physical. So the point is, do not blame physical reality for the way you feel. This doesn't mean you have to blame yourself either. The energy you want to align with is not one of blame, but of empowerment and joy. In other words, fun. It's fun to know your power. It's fun to know that you get to choose. Not having the money is one thing, and the way you feel about it is another. The way you feel is the really real. Always. What you observe to be quote unquote physical reality is just the reflection of that. Why else would two people who have the same monthly income experience different levels of satisfaction? Heck, while we're at it, why else does one person experience fluctuations in the way they feel? It's the same person, the same amount of money, but how they feel on Monday about their monthly income might be quite different from how they feel on Tuesday or any other day of the week, right? The feeling is the really real. The feeling is the secret. So, what do you do is what so many people want to know. How do you feel in a way that aligns with the reality you desire? How do you align yourself with the feeling of having, the feeling of being abundant? How do you feel rich when you don't have the money? You do it by not concerning yourself with the fact that you don't yet observe the fruition of your desire. You don't let it bother you. You don't concern yourself with outcomes. You don't concern yourself with the absence of the manifestation. Well, how do you do that? By allowing the fact that you don't yet observe your desired outcome to be a good thing instead of a bad thing. You allow it to encourage you. It's something to look forward to, something to positively expect, something to feel happy about, something to feel happy about now, not in spite of being unfulfilled, but because you are unfulfilled, if that makes sense. If that feels impossible, it isn't impossible, but if that's how it feels, then think about something else altogether, something that does not concern you. You might do that by focusing on something that concerns other people, but ideally, you want to pay attention to something that does not call to the energy of concern at all, the energy of concern within you. Pay attention to something that does not resonate with the vibration and the frequency, the feeling of concern. What are some things that don't concern you right this minute? Think of those things instead. In other words, if you are going to be trapped by the illusion of the mirror, then at least look at the parts of that reflected reality that you do find pleasing. What wonderful things do you notice the presence of? What wonderful things have already manifested in your experience? In other words, what are you genuinely happy about? Alternatively, what are some things that have manifested for other people that feels genuinely wonderful to you? These things will remind you of the things in your own first-hand experience that have been wonderful. It could be anything. And the truth is, the things that you are happy about, many of them probably have a lot to do with money, even if it's only indirectly. Think about those things. Just think about them and remember how happy you felt, how blessed, how abundant, how rich you felt. Wow, you have actually benefited from receiving and spending a lot of money, right? Remember it, meditate upon it, focus, in other words, just focus. You have been the beneficiary of large amounts of money. This exercise of focus is actually merely an excuse for you to remember the feeling, which, as I've said, is the really real, where it's really at. Remember the feeling of satisfaction. Remember all of the magical experiences you have experienced in your life. Experiences that made you laugh at how wonderful it was, how dreamy, how romantic, and how unexpected. You didn't plan those moments. They just happened, and you just went along with it. You were relaxed and going with the flow. The magic of this is that the time and energy you could have spent worrying about things you don't have, such as money, or brilliant ideas you wish you had about ways to get that money, was spent appreciating instead and enjoying and focusing positively on the oh-so-good feeling of having what you want. Because that's the secret. That's literally it. You spend as little time as possible in the mood of concern and as much time as possible in the mood of appreciation and satisfaction. Time passes regardless, and what you desire will manifest, because change is inevitable when you change. Keep dreaming, and every day is magical. Every moment, or at least most moments, most of the time. You are loving your life. You are appreciating the fun. You are living your best life, essentially, all day, every day. And sometime while you are fully engaged in having the time of your life, the money arrives and you go, there you are, perfect timing. Welcome. I know exactly how I'm going to spend you because I have spent a lot of time and positive energy focusing upon all of the wonderful things that you represent for me. I am so glad you are here. When you live life in this mode, what you experience is a steady unfolding of now, where you constantly enjoy plenty, where you constantly enjoy a steady stream of abundance. And it has everything to do with the way you feel today, right here, right now. Think less, do less. Feel more. Just be alive. Just be. And let yourself enjoy all of the wonderful things life has to offer.